Architecture is one of the few art forms that has the burden of having to function. And I've always been interested in thinking about how that relates to the morphology of how buildings change and adapt over time. Because how a building is seen as being right or appropriate depends a lot on who the user is. The interesting thing about working on older buildings is that there's a moment in time when you start to feel like you can connect with each and every one of the prior inhabitants of that building. Everybody leaves their mark somewhere along the way. When we bought the building, which is a circa 1893 warehouse, it was literally raining and snowing in here. There were pigeons flying around. The building had been abandoned and underutilized for over a decade. We were the first people to be able to live legally in this part of town. We petitioned the Zoning Board of Appeals and obtained a variance, which today you no longer need, because the city has thankfully changed the zoning ordinance to allow live-work lofts in the commercial district. I'm thrilled with what's going on in Kingston right now. People are now able to live in the commercial areas, and it's so important to have a diverse population in the mix of commercial and residential to have a sustainable city. My hope is that what's going on today will continue, and Midtown Kingston will be a destination, not just a place that you drive through.
Brooklyn has just become the highest cost housing market in the country, surpassed San Francisco, and that's driving a lot of growth to all of the Hudson River cities. If we can capture some of the growth, some of the economic vitality, and not displace people who are already here. I think the idea for an arts district in Kingston is smart, it's organic, it's real, and we have here the right combination of small city, walkable, some older factories that have been repurposed and buildings that are plugging in. We've got arts manufacturing community. We have tremendous talented artists who live here and who are creating their art here. We have a mix of live-work spaces that have been created for artists. So we're trying to work in the city of Kingston in a very intentional way, focused on the place. We're working in Midtown in particular. We've seen it happen many, many times across the country where artists have got into neighborhoods that were downtrodden, been responsible for turning those communities around. The Lace Mill is a very handsome masonry structure. A building built in 1903, for decades was a factory, right in the heart of Midtown. I've always said that buildings with their windows boarded up, it just sends a message to the community that we are downtrodden, that things are not happening here. We can't let that kind of thing stand. We can do better. We were able to repurpose the building. The Lace Mill opened up last summer and is doing fantastic. 55 rental units, some with lofts, some of the most dynamic living space here in Kingston. I think it's a marvelous opportunity. We're thrilled to be involved with it. Literally across Midtown. We think that this will have a transformative effect on what Kingston is and what it can be in the future.
The proposed arts district is so important. It's probably the most important thing that could happen here. It would give the Midtown district recognition that it so rightly deserves and form a body which would be entitled to grants and certainly be a catalyst to turn around the Midtown area. Midtown was primarily a factory district, and these factories are being converted for adaptive reuse. Each one has its own distinct personality. Everyone is uniquely different. Part of the reason they're here is because of the light. The light and the skylights, which we opened up, because all the windows were boarded up. Just operators were left open so the windows could open. And we started to take that off, and the light came in, and it was just incredible. So we started to develop that venue, and the artists were easy to deal with. They were straightforward. They were here because they needed the space. The Shirt Factory is just a myriad of tenants. We have a tenant who makes furniture from pallets. A vegan cheese manufacturer makes his cheese from nuts, flowers. I think it's the people more than the government that is causing Kingston to become a destination for creative people. We provide a place where creative people can meet and function in an atmosphere that is conducive to creating whatever it is they're creating. We're fortunate to be in a position to provide an opportunity for people to grow and meet and communicate with each other who have a commonality of interest. What we've developed is a group or a community of like-minded individuals, creative people, business people, entrepreneurs. For the most part, they're young, they're friendly, and there is a very strong community.